Blessings, everyone. This is Jules, and this is Becoming Bioquantum Podcast. And I am so excited about our guest today. Radavie has been in my life for the last couple of years, and we were just reminiscing on our first connection and how it kind of created an impact for both of us. And at one point, we talked about a book that was coming through you. And now I know that you have that completed and it's ready to share with the world. And I'm so excited to be a part of bringing that through and inviting others to be a part of that. So welcome to the show, Radavie, and I'm just going to have you introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Jules. It's really, really a pleasure for us to be meeting now on this wavelength, on this, now that the book has been published. And so here's my book that was recently published.
So beautiful.
And the book, I'm really integrated with the book, but the book it's about my journey, but also about humanity's journey.
Mhm.
It's not about me. I look at it that I'm a messenger for the messages that the essence of our soul gave me.
So
And
beautiful.
and they're in the book. So everything in the book, I have gone through all that journey and is with really passion. And especially when we know as we go, to me, life is a mystery. It's a mystery because as far as we can see, or expansive as we can see, and through life, we continue to unfold those mysteries. And you begin to slowly, at some point, really know why the hell I'm here on this planet. So, I'm going to start from the top. I grew up in a big family, but I was different. And I was different for a couple of reasons. One, because I was a breach and very difficult. And my mother went through a very difficult 3 days when the midwife literally, and I think an angel came to her, literally pulled me out. So the beginning of that is my mother, I think through her own fear, really blamed me. I'm just this little innocent child. So I want to go back to taking people to, you may not remember, but we came into this world with innocence. We didn't know anything. We didn't have language. We only came to give love and receive love. We are love itself. We're just love itself. And anytime anything, any frequency comes to us that is less than love, that energy affects us, affects our essence too. So that's the story of my great reason for being here. And so I walked away from my childhood memories. It was very painful to me because I was a deep introspective child, and I always wondered at 5 years old, why am I here? Why was I born? What is it? I wanted to know. The mystery was so close. I couldn't see beyond that. But one thing that happened to me when I was 4, I went to a Sunday school. We didn't normally go to church. And I learned about God. There was an awakening in my soul. that, without going into the long details about it, that touched me so deeply that it became the golden thread through the tapestry of my life. In spite of all the experiences that I had to go through, that was like a foundation, pulled me through. So in a way, I after doing my own self-healing, which I needed to do, I truly got to understand my soul is opening up to me. I'm here to break the code of the human conditioning. All right. So that's not arrogance. That was a truth that I had no idea about. So I started to heal, work with people, for many, many years, thousands of people to clear their wounded child inside, their inner child work. Because that's what I experienced doing my own self healing, and I needed to do my own self healing. And I would hear those separate pieces. Then they would take me. They didn't know they knew, but they would take me to where that piece is. And I would hear. They would speak to me, and I would make sure my client know and speak to them after the session. But unknown to me at that time that while I was able to speak to them, I was speaking to their essence. That was a soul's essence. So I had a real connection from the very beginning to connect with the soul. So then I get the messages
Mm.
after that. After my soul felt you have mastered that. We need to continue to move through the mystery, unveil the mystery, push the mystery further. That I got the messages, and they told me they were not a wounded child, they were divine sparks, and I did not know the name before.
Mm.
So I had a vision, but without going to the vision, and that's when I knew exactly what it is. They said, we are here to help the adults, but the adults first have to take us out of confinement. And I knew what that was. So, I had to, they wanted humanity to know, have the message, especially during this time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really pray that people will open somewhere, they will get a glimpse. Or maybe somewhere this book is evergreen, and it has the story of the trials and tribulations that we souls have gone through here. And there's beauty about it if we really see that the contrast is how we know what divine love is.
Ah.
It's through the contrast.
Mm.
But we have to get through, stop blaming and being stuck into that pain to know there's a grand reason why we go through experiences. It's it's a sacred journey, and I can say that now, but it was not like that growing up. So when I say a sacred journey, I really hope when people hear that, they said, how can you talk about my pain that is sacred?
Mm.
Once you experience and go through and understand and gain the wisdom, there's a whole different way in which we perceive the world
Mm.
and our lives.
Yes. I think I'd like to go with that is, first of all, tapping in to the wisdom, because I feel like that wisdom is the part of us that isn't the mind that's judging something as good and bad. And that through experience, but even more importantly, I would say how we process that experience and bringing it into a place of that essence or that purity creates a wisdom that is so beyond the mind. So I'm just going to turn that over to you and just let you reflect back on what your thoughts are about that or what your experience is.
Yeah, and the thing is, as I'm speaking to everyone, that little child, that little child that I used to help, when the adults come to me and find the wounded part, that's the part that is now standing up and speaking about what it is. It's a multidimensional talk. So I do not repeat what they say to me, because if I miss one word or I bring it in my own understanding, I know I'm not going to bring the essence up, because it's a multidimensional, although it seems simple. And I know that I had to bring that forward. And it's really to remind people why they're here, because I finally found why I went through all the things I did with such gratitude. Mm. Because what I want to remind the listeners too is that we are never alone. And what came to me was where there's the everlasting love that is here. It was shown to me once years ago when I was going through some past childhood stuff. And that everlasting love, I now recognize, is our soul's essence. Our soul's essence only have love and awareness. It just gives you the freedom to experience love, but know that awareness could never happen unless there is this soul's awareness. The awareness, just like when we were born, talked about no language. We had no language. Language. That's all it did, was aware of itself in everything.
Mhm.
Aware of itself in everything. And I met this little boy some years while I was writing the book. I went to a restaurant, and here walked this pregnant mother with her little boy sitting next to me. You think all of these things is for me to experience what I already knew. And so I love to talk with little children, because I want to feel the wisdom and the essence and the truth that comes through. And I said, "Oh, so mommy is going to have a baby." And he said, "I have a brother."
Mm.
Okay, that's how it. And his mother gently said, "Oh, he's talking about the dog." And I thought, I was jumping up and down. He was giving me exactly what I knew was happening with children before they really got into the entwinement of program.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that story. So let's go into maybe some of the spaces or that you share. I know you have kind of like, I think you were saying there's 12 different processes in your book, but that a big part of this is connecting back into that soul essence or the divine essence. And do you want to kind of give us a little bit about what to expect or a little taste of what it'll be like?
Sure. I'm going to say, some metaphor or reference. So let's say right now, we are sitting here together. The only way we can see each other is through the screen. The screen gives us the awareness that we can see. Okay, so what happens? The screen will show us all kinds of pictures: upset, loving, frightening. And what happens? We in our program self will jump into identifying with the difficulties that is showing us on the screen. We are the awareness, and it could never happen unless that innocence, as I talked about, that little child who was aware of itself. It's about being aware of itself, like this, like out in nature. When you look at the trees in nature, open your heart and recognize that there's a oneness between all of us. The tree has a spirit, and I'm very indigenous minded, so I knew all of that before. The tree has a spirit, the stones of a spirit. We are one with all things. It's just consciousness reflects in a different way.
I
And
I want to just interject there because I feel like what you just said is so important. And when I was just to use the example of the tree, it's the tree isn't identifying itself. It's just the tree, right? It's just that pure essence that we're all working towards becoming. And in that space, we use that word consciousness. And in a lot of ways, that the tree's consciousness is the essence. So there's no separation between well, I was just say how it is. It's a consciousness is the ability to be aware of oneself or to
yes,
identify where we're
yes,
holding it.
yes, yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the bridge between that, right? Because as humans, we have consciousness, and because we have consciousness, we also have that separation piece from our essence, and how we can use consciousness to connect into that essence versus identifying as being separate from that essence.
Yeah, and the thing is, um, when we're in our conditioned self, we have set programs in our mind that it's kind of really hard sometimes to break out of. But if we just say there's something else happening, there's something else here, this world is going through so much uneasiness, and it continues and it continues. There must be something else in life why I'm here, for instance. Or you may, one of the things that really break the light through is when we have an amazing emotional upset. That shows you that your essence, your state of beingness does not respond to pain. It only has love. That's all. And when we were children, and we had that love and that awareness, it has never left just because we were programmed into other people's thoughts and world. And you know, I want to say here that people talk a lot about the ancestors and your and that, but what was shown to me, because my guides are my teachers, and and I was shown, because I knew much about the fallen beings. I was shown and experienced what it was like. And every human being have been affected by the fallen beings. And if we go back to be clear, our ancestors, and every ancestor, who else is there to clear? Every human being has been affected. And I knew that in the Christ book. I mean, I'm a Christ conscious person. And I know that, and I read about that, and I'm not much of a reader, but I could not put the book down that was written about sharing lives, this particular person with Christ. And then I was shown that's something I needed to know. I was shown because I needed to hear. And so don't let ourselves be in control of this stuck belief and program that is coming from generations to generations. We are here to make that change. And that's what the planet is showing us. That's what consciousness is showing us. We can't go on like this. And you'd see it's getting worse and worse, but we stopped and said, I don't have to be part of that.
Mm.
Because there's so many people are showing the other side of it, the contrast. So many people. Find someone or a frequency you feel attracted to. And say, you know what? I need someone to hold my hand to guide me out of this.
Mm.
And you will know this person you're attracted to, this teaching or this group, whatever it is, open your heart and said, something else is here. It can't be this bad.
Mm. I absolutely love that. And really it's that space when we have that awakening, what you just said of, oh, there's another way, or there's another place to put my focus. There's another place to put my experience of consciousness. And in that decision, and then the commitment to that decision is what creates a new reality. It creates a new life. It creates those miracles because we're looking at what is becoming and the possibilities of stepping more into that space of essence, if you will,
I
versus
know, I know.
past.
Yes,
So
it's
beautiful.
beautiful. I just opened the book, Jules, and I found one of the messages because I broke it up in pieces to be appropriate for whatever part of the chapter I'm going to read. So here it is. I have to hold the book up. Falling from grace was like drowning in the vast ocean. We felt there was no escape. The deepest wound was not their behavior to each other and to us, but our light being covered by their shame. We no longer felt the pure consciousness of love. We felt like everyone else, having lost connection with God's love. Sorrow and shame veiled our spark. Our spark was hidden under the new reality of lack. We felt powerless.
I was that where that touched me was that place of that's always the answer, right? Is anytime that we're feeling anything but love, is that separation from source. And it's what I love about how powerful that was is that it's also that easy. It's just either we're there or we're not. And we can get so wrapped up in, oh, there, I have to do all of this and I have to do this and I have to do this. And it's like, just go here, just go back to source. That's always the answer. And that's what I
I
heard.
know, I
Mm.
know. And one of the one of the things that I feel and I understand why the deepest pain is our own self-judgment.
Mm.
We get, a lot of people get into addiction, but it's not the addiction that's the problem, it's what took them there. Something inside that they couldn't, they're so trapped into a despair. And many times it's because our interpretation of what has happened to us, maybe in a particular situation, and we felt this lack, like, this, and we hold ourselves in jail. We held ourselves in this place where we feel like a failure and we can't get out. And I have a lot of compassion and love for people and that is so distraught and be in competition and fighting each other, war against this. Because through my own personal experience of wounding has given me this great compassion and also the understanding of the fallen beings that I talk about. Let me see how and where people are. And that's why I am so passionate about sharing what my soul knows or what my soul's agreement is here to do.
Yes. What I am hearing in that, I can just hear these questions coming from those that are listening, and I always like to listen to what they're asking is that place of purpose. And it's that place of, well, what if where you started all this, right? Like, why am I here? Why am I here? And the answer to that question can only come from the essence. And that's the journey, right? So the journey isn't so much, oh, I finally found my purpose. The journey is knowing that essence so intimately that the purpose will always shift and change. The purpose is going home. It's going into that is the innate being, and that is where everything is informed. And then our life becomes the purpose of being able to hold that essence no matter what. And I feel like in that way, it takes away this thing that we have to have, this one thing that we came here to do. And it's more of just the way we're living our life.
Absolutely. To stay on the path of truth. That's what my guides would, that's they were to stay on the path of truth. And with what you said too, I remember when I was so wrapped up into my conditioned self, and when I started to go through my healing, whether I self healing, or you go to somebody you trust that can help to pull that out of you. I mean, I'm talking to your listeners. I remember when I went across the bridge. I mean, I didn't know what, at that point, I had no idea, but I had an experience. And I was handed my treasure box. And my treasure box was my medicine bag that I came in with. We're not given anything other than what we deserve, or we're not given anything more than what we've earned.
Mhm.
And so, but the important reason why I said that is because it's important to open and be vulnerable to heal the wounds that you personally are carrying because it's not yours. Whatever happened to you in this world, you didn't invite it to come, but there's a reason for everything. We don't blame what happened. We open our heart and say, there's a reason, and I'm going to find the wisdom for that reason.
Mm. Something that when I hear you speaking, I think it's important to go to that place of that the first, it can't be figured out through our mind. It's the journey that is the reason, right? The journey of reconnecting to the essence and opening up to a perspective that wasn't there when we were looping in the trauma or the repeated pattern from the programmed self. But when
Mhm.
we go into the essence and we have the experience from that space, it loosens up that um, the attachments or the blame or the victimhood, and it opens it up to, oh, okay, so whether we have the ultimate why or not isn't the point. The point is that the healing comes by reconnecting to our truth, where whatever happens in our life isn't in a place of judgment, but through a place of wisdom. And that's just the power that I feel in you as you're speaking. And I think it is just really important to go to this isn't about finding out why you are the way you are through your wounds. This is about a journey of going inside and connecting to your true essence and allowing that essence to inform you and who you are.
Perfect. I had no idea. I mean, I wasn't sitting there other than as a 5 year old. Why am I here? Why am I here? And as I continue to grow a little older, it's like I see a vision. I'm on this road and there's a big corner, like, and I want to see around the corner. And so that curiosity was there, but I really want to say that for me, the Velcro, emotions is a Velcro that holds the memories intact. You got to pull that Velcro off because it's not integrated in you. It's only a Velcro that you can pull off. But first of all, you need to go, and the more you work through, the more you feel that emotion inside, and the more the veil for that situation falls away. I promise you, you're going to feel so much different. It's like it's to me, it's a journey of awakening.
Mhm.
Awakening is not this great big thing that, oh my God, I just woke up and I know the whole world. It's about awakening to the compassion and understanding of what you've always been and what you have discovered now, and how you see the beauty in the world through a whole different lens. When you feel that self care and that love inside of you, because the love for the world has to come from here first. You can't feel anything unless you started it. It comes from you. So that also goes for judgment. You are feeling it first. You're feeling it first. Everything that you project out there, you're feeling it first. I mean, I think that is pretty plain. That's clear.
Mm.
You're feeling it first.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like from here, I would talk a little bit about where they can find your book. First of all, I know you have a website and we want everybody, and I know you have a free offering that we can put the link there as well. But let's
Mhm.
just have you do a shout out for where they are going to go to learn more about you and about your book.
Okay, first of all, about the book, go to Amazon. It's pretty easy. And I think you put Awaken to Inner Peace. That's it. If you just start putting that, and the book will come up. And always, when you get the book, I really, one thing I ask of you, write something, put something, because it's very meaningful for the book to put, what do you call it? Write a,
You
a
or
review, thank you. To write a review, yes. And then that's the book. And then on my website, you probably will see about the book too, because I have a link about the book. But it's Radavie. Most important to know how to spell my name right. Radavie.net. It's pretty simple. And when you get to the front page, it will invite you to sign up to listen to one of the discovery meditations that I have in the book. And um, and then I also have a free 20-minute complimentary guidance that I do. I love to talk with people. I love people to open to talk about things. Not I'm talking. I want to open to listen and to have some perspective to offer you.
What a beautiful gift. And that's on your website, radavie.net.
Yes, some people tell me they start healing when they do the 20-minute because it's not about what I know. It's what it is that comes through for you. And it's your energy field that is and I never fail to tell people about the beauty that I see in them, that they haven't even yet there's this unhappiness. I see, and when I see this beauty, I just it's important that people needs to be recognized from the heart space.
Mhm.
People needs connections. And a lot of us didn't feel that.
Essence to essence. And you definitely hold that your essence in such a beautiful way. And that in itself is a space of healing, is just the invitation to meet you in that space and experience that essence in oneself. And that is a gift that you bring not to just the people that are listening to, but to everyone that you encounter. And I see that light in you, and I just want to honor you for bringing that through and for holding yourself in that place of integrity and authenticity, and just really being willing to shine your light no matter what. And I know that's not always easy. And I think for us light workers, sometimes it's nice to hear that. And I want you to hear that from me. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for bringing
Thank
it
you.
today.
Thank you. And I got to the place, Jules, that I can say I'm an inner peace guide.
Mm,
And I say it with certainty
mm.
because I live it. And I could never be a guide for anything unless I was living. Can we? We can't. We can't invite someone to be something if we have never lived it.
Yes, that's the wisdom. It's beautiful.
And yeah, so mm, one of the things that was clearly shown to me, oh, and okay, Nancy, I have a book, Christ Letters, and he said every word in this came from me. And every day it's my little Bible. I'll open and read something. And I will continue to go back to the front of the book all the time because there's an energy about it for me. So, what I was going to say took me there, so I'll bring this piece over to it. And as light workers, I humbly say we really don't do anything. We are the sacred temple when we hold that space for the wisdom or whatever it is we're doing to come through. Now, Christ said healing doesn't quite happen unless the Father. He said, whatever I did was because of the Father. I opened to the Father. For me, I didn't use that word. I opened to the divine. So I said, I leave my head at the door and the divine takes over.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And that's a choice that is made every single day, and it is a way of life. And I just honor you for living your life from that space and then sharing your wisdom of what it is to walk in a life of in that choice. It's such a gift to us all.
Took me a long time, Joyce, and I said to myself, why it took so long? I mean, and I said, would you have preferred being here without the experiences you gained? And that took care of that question.
Hmm.
So it's very beautiful to speak with you too, Jules, that in that flame of the divine love. It's really beautiful, and it's not common that we will find someone you can just open to. Well, I do the same thing when I go on other podcasts anyway. I thought I was going to talk about other things I did mention before, but it didn't seem to come up. And but yeah, I don't, I know a lot of people, but you can feel when you can really go down into depths of your spirit, your essence, and connect.
Mhm.
So it
It's
is very beautiful to see you and your evolution too. We're here learning, growing, and evolving.
cute. Thank you. Is there any last words that you feel that you didn't get to say that you would like to say before we
Yeah,
conclude?
yeah. I want to sincerely remind people that we are from the one flame of the divine. Just consider this huge flame, and it's only coming from one place. And the sparks are spark all over the planet. And they're the sparks from that one flame. Consider even those people who have hurt you.
Mm,
We're really one. And I'm not saying, okay, go forgive that person right now. You have to get through your hurt first, and then remember, recognize why we're all here and why did that person enter my life.
yeah.
I just saw on Facebook. I don't commonly go on Facebook. I just, and then someone was talking about, because I put little wisdom words out to LinkedIn and my Facebook. And someone who was a client of mine, he wrote a beautiful thing. I keep giving away these books to people, and you really need to buy this and remember about forgiveness. It was about forgiveness. He said, I remember when I had a problem with my father, and well, and anyway, coming to see me and how he learned to forgive. I learned to forgive also
Mm,
because I could talk about that too.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, the last thing is when you have love in your heart, when you have love, when you feel love, and I'm not talking about the love for someone else. I'm talking about that love that surpasses all things.
Mhm. Yes.
There's no one to blame anymore.
That's freedom. That's empowerment.
Yes, absolutely. That's the word. Freedom. Yeah.
So powerful. Well, Ravity, thank you for bringing this, just everything that just your spirit, your soul, and sharing us your wisdom. And I know that we can go so much deeper into this wisdom in your book. And again, you can get that on Amazon or to ravity.net, and we'll have those links below in the show notes. And I just want to honor you and thank you for bringing your love today and sharing it with us.
Thank you, Jules. It was just very special moments sharing with you today. Special moment.
Thank you.
Seeing your beauty to that two sparks are sparking light, more light. So that's how I see that.
Thank you. And
Mhm.
thanks everyone for listening. We're sending you so much love as you connect into your true essence within your heart and make the choice, even in just this moment, to live your life from that space and let it guide you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.